important for 211s, and here's why.
Jonathan, one second before you move on.
Sure.
While we're in here talking about canned responses,
Yes.
is there any way to delete one? Say that we made 7 of them, and we don't need 7 of them, we really only need 3. How do we
Just
get rid of
turn it
the
off,
4?
turn it off, or edit over it. So either like when I go to my default group, right? If I don't want ones to appear, I just deactivate them. And then if you don't want them there, then edit over them.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Also, another thing about your canned libraries, while you're editing your libraries, you can prioritize how they appear simply by doing these plus or minus. Like if I know that I want in my food service group of canned messages, I want this one to appear first in the list, then I just can move it up. Yeah, and
we do that too.
Great, perfect. So you understand that. And then I won't go into this because it sounds like you guys really get the canned libraries. You know what you're doing there. The only thing I would say is that the more time you put into your canned libraries, the more useful they are. And we'll just leave it at that.
Right.
Yep. And then and also one more thing to note is you can give a specialist permission to have a personal library, but that is something that an administrator needs to assign to the staff member. It's not by default. And so if you do have staff, INR specialists that are wanting to set up or that they're going to develop that kind of protocol, then you would just go to the staff profile in question and then give them custom canned messages, and that will let them build let them build groups of canned messages as well.
Right.
Okay. Markers. Now, markers are where it's the same rules apply to how this works. So when you go to the admin, only the people that have either administrators or staff that are actually given the permission to see this sub-tab would see it. And it's under admin, and this is where all the editing happens with the data markers. And this is also, the same rules apply. What you want to have up here, and you can actually delete these data markers or edit over them. It's your choice. We're looking at the demo site, so we're looking at something different than your site. But what you see on your site, you can delete. Like we usually put something up there just so that you can see and get an idea for what might go there. But do what you guys are going to do with it. And to edit over them, you just click the edit button. If you want to completely delete a data marker, then just click the delete button. It usually asks you, are you sure you want to delete this data marker before you do it? And then it just removes it. And then the same rules apply here as well in terms of prioritizing. Like when I set up a new data marker, I can prioritize it like this, so that when the staff member, the specialist, is working with a client, they're going to have the option to fill out the age first if I put it at the top. If I put it down here at the bottom, well, then it won't appear until the last option. And how that looks while you're in a client profile is this. So if I'm looking at a client profile here and I select data markers, you see that how we prioritize them on that page, on that editing page, is what appears here. And the data markers, how the staff see it, is in this neat, tidy little place, right? It's just you click the one that you're going to fill out next. And when you fill out, for instance, if you know this is like a food service, you would just click the little green plus, and then you don't have to sign or date it. It's all going to be done automatically. It's dated, time-stamped, and by whoever created that data marker, that record. And then if I want to switch,
by clicking on that green plus, we can add the issue, food service. We can add their age if we wanted to. We can add their zip code, all of that.
Whatever you need, whatever you have. Remember, over here on data markers is an unlimited amount of space and editing. I mean, this is your place. This is your zone. You know, when you click over here under admin, you go to markers. This is where any information that comes from a form or comes from anything that you guys have would go.
No, I get that part.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I get that part. Go back to the screen where you were doing the text message.
Sure.
And you can go ahead and put in their gender under data markers.
I was working here, and I was working on this one. So I added this data marker.
That's what I thought, but I want to see him. Okay, so and we can put gender, and then we can put male and add the green check mark. It's going to put that underneath there too, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, that's what I wanted to see. I got to see it to believe it, Jonathan.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And so, yeah, you just go through and you fill out. And so, you know, and this is where, like, you can, you can really start to tag encounters with certain information. And so we see data markers used for a lot of things. You know, we see them used for a lot of things. Now, one of the things where it comes full circle is, like, let's say we help with tax season issue, and we assign, let me see, taxes, and we update. Well, anyone that I mark with taxes is now going to be groupable. And then I can go over here to the Groups tab, and I can build a group of clients. So if I click Groups, and I click Show, I can then click New, and then I can click Tax Help, or Received Tax Help. And then I can find the clients by that data marker, right? And then anybody that I marked with that data marker, so the content of the thing that is the response, right? So in the issue, you would be typing how it appears in the data marker, the issue. And so if we do a data marker search for everything we marked with the response issue taxes, we're going to have a list of clients, everybody who we marked that way. And then we can add all. So if this was 500 or 5,000 people, we can add all. And then suddenly we've got a group of clients that we marked in this special way that we can now save and send content to. It's that simple. It's just thinking about how you can take the capacity of the data markers and then migrate that into the capacity of group messaging. And that's how you can take a program, and really, do quite a bit with it, right? You can do quite a bit with it. And here's a neat tool. Here's a little trick. So going over here to admin, as we mentioned, we talked about adding clients. I can take a list, export from my CRM, as long as I know that they're mobile numbers. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you have some landlines in there. Our system will detect when it's a landline versus when it's a mobile number. Let's say I'm compiling a list of people from my CRM. These are the people that we helped last year taxes. We want to text them this year something. Let them know, hey, we're here. But we're also here with during tax season by text. And here's how you know, and here's how you can get in touch with us. So I take my list of mobile numbers. It can be in an Excel spreadsheet. I can either copy and paste the numbers into here, or I can browse and upload the Excel spreadsheet with those mobile numbers, right? 020296. Now, down here, guys, is my data marker where I can now assign a data marker to everybody that I upload to then, now what we're going to do is we're going to send these clients information about taxes. But what we're thinking ahead is to group them when we upload them, so that we're tagging everybody with that information, right? So now when I upload this phone number here, it's going to tag it with that issue, taxes, that data marker. So then I can build my group by virtue of my upload, which solves a lot of trouble. You could have an upload of 500 or 1,000 or 5,000. You know, we have clients that are uploading 15,000 mobile numbers, right, at a time, and sending out content to those folks. Hey, this is 211. You got help from us last year, taxes. We're here this year again.
Jonathan, it's Amy. How did you do that again to upload the numbers? So say, for instance, I get the part that we're going to mark the data marker as taxes. That's why they originally text. But go over the part then how to do the group and how, so next year tax time comes and we can do a blast text to these clients is kind of what I'm foreseeing. Right. Or, you know, that's just an example. So how did you do that again? So you click
the upload part that was confusing, or
right? How do we upload? How do we upload those clients?
Phone number. Okay.
The phone numbers.
Are you able to export from your CRM people who contacted you about taxes last year? Can you export from your CRM?
I don't know the answer to that question right now.
Well, check on that. Check on that.
Okay. Because when you're saying that, I don't know.
Check on if you can, better even, if you could export those folks with their mobile number, if you've got it, or the number that you have on file for them. And then when you export that, then what you can do is you can take that list and you can upload it with this Browse Upload tool. So it just needs to be an XLS file. So if it's in another format, just save it as an XLS file, an Excel file. And then that list can have, you know, any number of mobile numbers that you guys have. It's just what you're doing is you're taking information from one system that you know to be true. Hey, these people text us about, or these people called us last year about taxes. Well, this year we're going to send out a text to them, and we're going to let them know that we're here to help again. They're going to get a nice little text though from us, and they're going to, and maybe you put in the text a link to the website that they might go to. You know, whatever you put in this box here is going to go to that group that you find and browse, or you build and then browse and upload the Excel spreadsheet. Whatever you put in this second box is going to go. And then you also data mark them at the same time when you upload them, so that you can keep sending that group information. Okay? So, hi, this is 211. You received help from us last year. With your taxes. Need help again? Text your zip code or call 211. Simple. Might put a website in here. Link to website. And then I'm tagging everybody that I've either put into this box, their mobile number, or that I'm browsing, uploading the Excel spreadsheet with the list of mobile numbers. I'm going to send them all this message, and I'm tagging them all by issue, taxes. And then when I'm when I'm ready to put them into the system, I just click this little green button here. And the only thing you need to know about is what keyword you use. And your system will have a silent keyword use a silent keyword, because the silent keyword doesn't have an opt-in message associated to it. It just puts them into the queue and sends them whatever you put into the second box. So when you upload, just select the word, whatever word you've got with silent in parentheses. And then you click the fully opt-in, and then it gives you a report up here on how many phone numbers from your list were put into the system. Super simple. Really easy to get a list of mobile numbers into the service. Right up here, it'll also tell you if the numbers were, if some of the numbers were non-mobile. So it will tell you all of the mobile numbers we uploaded or added, X number of numbers. The following phone numbers were unable to be uploaded. Check the box. And then they'll be here in this box. And oftentimes those are incomplete mobile numbers. So one's missing a digit or two, which happens. Your list might not be complete. You might have a partial phone number, and the system will catch that and point it to, draw your attention to it. Now, to verify all of the clients that got this information, I just go back over here to the Users tab. And then I can search by phone number, or I can search by keyword, right? And I can find the client that I just put into the service. And then look there. There's that message that I typed. Oh, and look here. There's that phone number. I mean, that issue that I added, that data marker that I added, right there. Simple. Really straightforward. Now, let's go look at the Groups tab. Now, I'm going to show Groups. Go under the sub-tab Groups, Show, and then New. And then if I want to build a new group, I just type the name of the group. So Tax Season Help. Tax Season Help, or Tax Season Alerts. And then I go Data Marker, and then I go Taxes. Now, look, two numbers are in there because I data marked that one and I data marked that one. I'm going to add mine because I don't know who this is, but I'm going to add mine and I'm going to save it. Now I've got a data marker and receive tax help. I've got two groups now that I can send to. So I click send, and then where's that one I just put in? Receive tax help. Let me see. Tax season alerts. So you find the group that you want to send to, and then you type your message. Hi, this is 211. We are providing free tax help this year. Please check out our website, and if you qualify, text us your zip code or call 211. And then I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to say send, please send in March. If I didn't put any future date and time, it would go out instantly to whatever group I select. If I put a future date and time, well, then it's going to go out on that future date and time, whatever I put here. And I'm going to put here 12. I'm going to leave a little bit of lag time so I can show you 6 minutes. So I left 6 minutes spare amount of time before this one's going to fire. Now I selected that one group that I picked, the tax season alerts. I stuck the client in there, and it's my phone number. And then I click send. Group message created successfully. Now we
Okay,
go over
Jonathan.
here to the process.
So,
Now we
Jonathan.
go over here to the. Now we go over here. Hold on, one more.
Okay.
I just need to explain this one last thing. Now we go
Sure.
over here to the process, and there it is. There's the group message that I created for that group because I selected that group, and that group was built because we data marked that client that we stuck into.
Okay.
That.
So
Now,
basically, I just want to kind of go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify. So, I mean, we're just new and out of the gate here. So, the reason for those data markers, and, you know, I've kind of played with that also. So, we're creating a data marker. And now to do the group in the future, the taxes, like I said, is just one example that I think down the road would be good. We can just create groups selecting anything that had to do with whatever we're using as the issue, in this instance, taxes.
Right.
And that's going to then upload all those phone numbers. And then we just type in the message.
Yeah, like, okay, so you can, this is, the groups tab is where you build your groups that you're going to send content to.
Okay.
If you data mark a client, that's going to make them accessible under the Groups tab. Everybody is accessible in the Groups tab. Everybody that opts into the system, everybody that gets help from you is going to, by tab, is going to be in the service. The data markers is how you get to certain clients or certain phone numbers more quickly.
Right. So we could just type in taxes or tax help or whatever, and everybody within that group or what have you is going to...
Everybody who's been marked with that data marker, taxes, is going to appear in your group here, or in this list.
Okay.
See, all this is a sorting tool for your list, so that you can get at clients quicker. You can get at the ones that you're going to put into a group quicker. So the groups show is where you build your group. The send is where you send content to the group that you built.
Okay. So now, the groups show is where we build it.
Show, under groups. The sub-tab show is where you build your group. Send is where you send content to the group you built.
Okay.
Now, here's that group message that I created. As you'll see here, it's cancelable. I can cancel it up to the point when it's supposed to go out, which is in a couple minutes. I can also view by client. So I can click on my phone number, for instance, and I can see that group message that I created for myself. Just go here to show unsent. And then there it is. Unsent message. It's going to go out in a couple minutes. It's right there. It's grayed out because it's not sent yet. As soon as it gets sent to the client, it's going to go from unsent to sent. So you can even cancel group messages on a client-by-client basis if you needed to. Like if I wanted to cancel a group message for my phone number, I would just go to show unsent and a red minus and cancel it. But I want it to send so we can see it. Send. So that's how you can utilize the data markers to then get at clients, to then group clients, to then send them content because of that group.
Okay.
That's the steps that are more and more 2-in-1s are falling in love with. Because it's so simple. The processes of it are relatively easy to get at. We're not gonna ask you to step too far out of your comfort zone to get at these tools, these magnificent tools. Now, how do you get a group of mobile numbers into the system? That's a totally different can of worms, right? That's something that is done under the admin tab. So you're going to admin.
Okay.
And then you're going over here to the opt-in tab, and you're going fully opt-in. And that's where you're going to upload your mobile numbers. Admin, fully opt-in, and then you put your number in. And any number you stick in here, any list of mobile numbers you stick in here, are going to be added to the service. What I was showing you earlier was a way to add a group of mobile numbers that got help last year with taxes. We're going to notify them this year, and we're going to group them at the same time. So kind of a two-step process, right? We're building our group as part of the upload. Right? So
okay.
if this is something you're interested in doing, then this is how I suggest you go about it. You check with your CRM and you say, hey, can we get it callers last year who contacted us about taxes? Sure. Can we export that? Sure. And then once you export that file, you can either reach out to me, or we can, or you yourself can take that, make sure it's an XLS file. If it's not, save as XLS file, and then check your header over the phone number. If it says anything but phone, then change it to phone. And then you can browse and upload that Excel spreadsheet. And then you put your content in here. If you don't want to send them any message when you add them, you don't put anything in here. If you're just simply adding them to data mark them, then you wouldn't put anything in here. You would just select the data marker, issue, and taxes, and then fully opt-in. And then it's just going to stick whatever phone numbers were in that Excel spreadsheet into the service and mark them with that data marker. So then suddenly when you go over here to the Groups tab, you've got a group now that will include those new numbers, but you're going to have to add them to that group. You're going to have to add them to that group. So going over here under the show, you can find the group that you're going to edit. Receive tax help, edit. And then now you're going to sort data markers, taxes, and then add all. And it won't, if it's already in the group, it won't negate anything. It won't put it in twice. And then you can just add all, and then now your group is inclusive of all of those phone numbers that you just added. So, it's really important to think about how you want to help people.
Right.
Do you want to help people who are, do you want to help people who have contacted you in the past? Well, then it's exporting from your CRM. Do you want to help people as you go along and you want to data mark them and so that you can group them in the future? How do you want to use the service? Do you guys see this as being something that you're just going to mark along the way? So as people text you this tax season, you're going to data mark these folks with the taxes data marker so that next year you can tell these guys again that hey, we're available again this year. So forward thinking.
That's just kind of how I see that it would be definitely beneficial. And maybe for our we have a holiday program too, just something to kind of, discuss amongst our team here and see if that would be another reason why we would. Definitely the data markers for us are beneficial just to kind of keep track of.
Keep the information. Good.
Right. Why are they texting? What are their issues? That sort of thing. I think that what you're showing us now may definitely be beneficial down the road.
Yeah.
And as you know, I may be. What's that?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say.
That's exactly. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say. So if I'm not doing it now, I might need another little mini tutorial when I'm doing it again. But I definitely, kind of just putting all the chunks together of your system. The data markers, I kind of went in on Friday when I had a little time, added one. So I was, I got that added. I want to make sure Amanda knows how to do that. Kind of being able to put them in some sort of alphabetical order. I think I kind of figured that part out. So just that's just kind of where we are right now. Just really using the system. Yeah, we've really only had a handful of actual text messages. So I know the other question came up about using that referrals box underneath the text box itself. Is that just to keep track as if it is a referral compared to if they just needed a phone number or information? Or does it actually keep track of what the referral was?
So if you're on a client, so if you're in a client and you're working with a client and you're having a conversation with that client,
right?
Yes, this referral checkbox is for when you reach the point in the conversation when you're actually sending some referrals to the client.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood that correctly.
The reason we do that is because when you run reports, whatever you marked as a referral will be available in a report called referrals.
Okay.
So it's kind of a way to make sure that all the referrals that you text are being counted as a referral.
Okay.
If you forget to mark that off before you send the referral, it's not the end of the world, right? It's just, but it's for data purposes. If you guys want to make sure, that when during our conversations, when we do that referral, when we actually send the content of the referral, we're marking it off as the content of the referral because we want to make sure that when we run our report for referrals, that referral is in that report. And the referrals report is right there. And what that referrals report is going to include is anything that you marked during your conversations as referrals, and then anything that you use with the referrals tab. So do you guys know much? Are you going to be using the referrals tab?
I'm assuming so at some point.
Yeah.
I believe that we will be.
Okay. So the referrals tab is just for sending content to callers.
Yep, we did. Yeah, we did that. I did that one time where, like, if they call in and then they want the response via text.
Yep.
I did that one time. And I think, Amanda said she did that too. So that's a definite, we'll use.
It's really easy to use, and it's lightning quick. And usually the caller that you're on the phone with gets the text while you're still on the phone with them. And it's just really wonderful. It's super fast. It's efficient. You don't have to put their carrier in. And also, it's going to show up in your data. And so anything that you text to callers will automatically wind up in that referrals tab. So you're getting credit for all those referrals that you're texting.
Okay. Yep, we've already did that. And then I added data markers to the one.
Yep, you can even data mark your,
And I think,
really cool.
As a team, that's something that, the more we mark as far as the data that we're, the issue or male, female, or whatever we can capture down the road is going to, give us the information that we need, right?
That's right.
So
it's going to make you guys able to do more with your clients in the future. And you may not know the answers to those questions right now. But a year from now or 2 years from now, you might be going, oh, God, I'm so glad that we use data markers, you know.
Right.
And that's kind of the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And the data markers are something we're used to using in our other system where we do have to capture kind of that same type of information, why they're calling, gender, whatever the case may be. So, you know, we just want to be all on the same page as to what each thing is. This referrals, I think, is a great tool for us. There again, if somebody's calling and they're on their phone in their car and we can shoot them via text the information, I think that's a great tool, you know, down the road that we can even offer without having them pull over and write the information down. So
that's exactly right.
That's definitely utilized, I think, a lot in the future.
Good.
This groups thing, I think, will be a little down the road for me anyways. But definitely I just wanted to get comfortable with data markers and how to put them in. I'm just trying to see if there was anything. I checked the opt-in messages and they looked good.
Do you guys do any surveys? Good. Do you guys do any surveys with clients? Do you survey them? Do you have surveys? Have you thought about the surveys? Okay.
I believe that we may in the future. That might be something, you know, this is just, like I said, just right out of the gate. So, but what do other clients do, or are they just kind of like a follow-up little survey?
Okay, so surveys can be anything that you guys have. Like if you've got a question and answer that you need to automate, right? You can automate the survey. If you've got, for instance, your question about is it a like the quality assurance survey? That's one way to think about it. A quality assurance
that's
survey
kind of what I was thinking.
Yep.
Okay.
But you can also have a survey for qualifying somebody for something, or you know, a survey that needs to be asked because, well, once we know that they want food services, these are the questions we have to ask them. So you can also have surveys be part of something that happens while you're having a conversation with a client. And so we ask that you think about that. How might we use surveys, not just as quality assurance? After we have an encounter, we're going to ask them these questions. But also while we're helping somebody, these are the types of questions we might ask them, right? And you know, it just depends on what you guys, you know, how you guys have your encounters with your clients. And this survey capacity can be really helpful in that regard. You know, imagine for a moment if you've got, you know, for instance, that the person is food service, but in order to give them the food service referral, you know that you have to ask them some qualifying questions. Well, if you could just assign those questions as a automated survey, then you might save yourself a lot of time, right? So if I assign a food bank screener, for instance, to this client, then what will happen is they'll get that whatever survey is, whatever we put into that survey. And going over here under the triages, if we look at that, what did we say? What did I say? I find this food bank. So 7 questions. So these are the questions that we're asking. Hi, and this is specific to a client we're working with, a 2-on-1 in Milwaukee, where they need to verify if the client's a Milwaukee County resident. They need to ask if they've been to a food pantry in the past 3 days. They need to ask the gender. I mean, there's all these questions that they're asking of the client when they have a person who's needing a food bank. It's a big part of their business. I mean, they're really focused on food services, but then qualifying them. And so if you guys have that type of service that you're providing, then you may want to consider taking some of those questions and automating them. And if you do so, we'll help you do that, right? We'll help you.
Okay.
And so let's start with this. Let's start with, if you've got a quality assurance survey that you guys are thinking about using, I will set it up to be active for you. You just need to send me what your quality assurance survey is, what questions you'd like to use. And there's some sample surveys on the FTP. So have a look at the FTP if you haven't already. That's a good place to start. It provides you with a lot of information about the service and how you can sample canned messages, sample surveys, sample materials like web banners and things like that other 211s have used to build awareness about texting. So there's a lot of things on that FTP that you can download and view. But the sample surveys, it will give you examples of what other 211s have used. And a lot of the surveys, the quality assurance, are super straightforward. Hi, after you received help from 211 recently, did you follow up on any of the referrals that we texted you?
Yep.
Yes, no. And then, would you use this service again? Yes, no. And then
I think we do have that kind of in place for callers when they call in. We do a follow-up call for some of those. So we have, kind of a follow-up quality assurance type thing already set up that we can, maybe bounce around and see if that would be something we'd like to do. So
if you want to migrate that, if you want to make that part of your text message program, then just let me know what questions you ask. Send those my way. And then I will send you an email once we've uploaded and made it available in your system, and then we'll talk about how and when it gets assigned.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds like some good information. Do you have any other questions, Amanda?
No, I am good. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Okay,
no problem,
well,
guys.
I think that was good